Good Tuesday evening, everybody. Wanted to update you on the weather because we've got some rain on the way Wednesday, and it's going to usher in some significant changes here over the coming several days. Yeah, another bout of some chilly weather behind all this. We're not quite used to it just yet. But a big storm system developing low to our southwest isn't going to be a gigantic rainmaker for us, but it is going to be a very typical fall storm that will bring some major changes. More snow off to the west in the Black Hills, Wyoming, Colorado, and decent rain for parts of Minnesota, especially central and western Minnesota. But it is one of these deep lows that is just basically like a suction vortex in your sink when you let the water out, that is going to bring in several changes that we're going to be seeing. I had posted this earlier in the day. This was in the early afternoon. Of course, we topped out at 74, but huge difference in temperatures gathering. So one of the things these deep fall or also spring lows can do is really bring in the contrast in temperature. So it was in the 30s in Montana and the northwestern corner of North Dakota, while we were sitting in the 70s. So under a 400-mile difference as the crow flies, basically you've got a 30 to 40 degree temperature difference. And that is also fuel for these systems. It's going to help to squeeze out moisture. Now I'm showing you a side-by-side, the most aggressive versus the least aggressive model to show you why there are some differences potentially in the precip. So this is noon tomorrow. On the left, aggressive model has it raining pretty good and more scattered showers midday on the right. And then through the evening hours, at least some scattered showers, but again, the more aggressive model on the left does have those showers coming in a little more intense, and so that does lead to some varying precip amounts. So this is the most aggressive model, brings in some of those heavier amounts off to the west into the Twin Cities, which could spell over an inch of rain for some spots, even within the metro. But the less aggressive model keeps those heavier bands mainly to our north and to our west. And when you kind of average, not just these two, but all the different models we have together, we call this the blend of the models. You get a little bit better picture of what might happen more likely, which is that west central, southwestern Minnesota, best chances of some 1 to 1.5 inch rainfall amounts, and then maybe even the northern suburbs getting in on some of these slightly heavier amounts. I do think the metro gets under an inch of rain. In fact, I think most of us will see under a half inch of rain. That's just how these systems have been going. But this is sort of a blend showing you more of the average scenarios. And at least we're not getting this, which is snow to the west in the Black Hills. Models are a little differing on the amounts and exactly how far east it gets. Some of these evening model runs are a little more aggressive, a little closer into south central South Dakota, but several inches of snow, probably not as big of a snow as what they had last week in the Black Hills, is possible. And then things get more interesting for the temperatures. Pay attention to the red blob across far northern Canada, the Arctic. That area is so intense, such intense warmth that it's pushing cold south over Hudson Bay. That's that green and blue blob moving south into Minnesota, so that it's going to have the perfect setup to just kind of flow into the wake of tomorrow's storm system, so that Thursday, Friday into Saturday, we're going to see our chilliest temperatures of the season. And instead of 1 or 2 days of cold weather, this time it could be 3, 4, 5 days. And nothing super crazy for the time of year, but it is going to bring in temperatures that will be finally below normal, and maybe our first frost in the urban core of the metro even. But I've ended here on the frame that is next Tuesday. So a week from now, we're back into that red, white, hot blob. Yeah, we could be back in the 70s here by Tuesday and Wednesday next week. This is the European model, has us highs back around 73. So don't count out the warm weather just yet. It is going to be cool though before that. In fact, here's forecast lows potentially early Saturday. We're talking about temperatures right near the freezing mark, and all that kind of pinkish color outside of the metro, that's a hard freeze, which we define as 28 degrees or colder. So many spots are going to see their first hard freeze, and in the metro, maybe our first frost finally. So definitely some cooler temperatures headed our way. In fact, I can't remember the last time I've had a full forecast where each day was below 60 degrees. We'd have to go back to May or maybe even April. So definitely some cooler weather in store for us. But again, as I mentioned, don't count out the heat. Some warmer temperatures could already be back a week from now. But in the meantime, a soggy Wednesday on and off with scattered showers and pretty gloomy.